There they go again. Mexican officials arrived in Washington yesterday to resume NAFTA talks. I'm Robin Kinderman, and you're watching JBS Straight Talk. This week's round of NAFTA renegotiations are the first since the Mexican presidential elections earlier this month. In fact, representatives from both the outgoing and incoming Mexican presidential administrations arrived yesterday to hammer out the details of a new NAFTA deal. A main issue of contention for Mexico is President Trump's recent tariffs on steel and aluminum, which went into effect for Mexico on June 1st. Trump has also threatened to impose tariffs on imported vehicles and auto parts, citing potential risks to U.S. national security. Despite these concerns, President Trump remains committed to renegotiating NAFTA. However, Trump has also stated that he is prepared to change directions. In a recent letter to President López Obrador, Trump wrote, "I believe a successful renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement will lead to even more jobs and higher wages for hardworking American and Mexican workers. But only if it can go quickly, because otherwise I must go a much different route." What does Trump mean by going a much different route? Christian Gomez of The New American writes, "Trump's much different route may be a reference to his previous suggestions of potentially splitting NAFTA from a single trilateral agreement into two separate bilateral agreements, one with Mexico and another with Canada." Should we be optimistic for a potential repeal and replace of NAFTA with two separate bilateral agreements? As Gomez states, while such a move may seem like a favorable step away from the present plurilateral regional trade regime, this may not be the case, as all of the bilateral free trade agreements that the United States has negotiated over the past 2 decades have been under the authority of the World Government Building World Trade Organization. In other words, when any so-called free trade agreement is under the authority of the WTO, it doesn't matter if it's bilateral, trilateral, or multilateral. In the end, they are all globalist agreements that threaten U.S. sovereignty. As for NAFTA itself, it's important to note that in 1993, Henry Kissinger made the following key statements, calling NAFTA the most creative step toward a new world order taken by any group of countries since the end of the Cold War. Kissinger further said NAFTA is not a conventional trade agreement, but the architecture of a new international system. There you have it from the horse's mouth. NAFTA is not about trade in the classical sense of commerce between nations. Rather, it's about laying the foundations for regional government towards one world government. This is why, no matter how much better a new NAFTA may seem for American workers, in its very essence, it would still be a bad deal. We cannot be fooled into globalist agreements that allow U.S. laws and courts to be overridden. We need to protect our national sovereignty and independence. Contact President Trump and Congress today and tell them that you don't want any deal that keeps America in NAFTA or any other so-called trade arrangement that would be subordinate to the World Trade Organization. Ask them to withdraw the United States from NAFTA. For more information about NAFTA and why we should get out of it, visit our Get Us Out of NAFTA page. Links and phone numbers will be in the description. So until next time, take care and God bless.